How is it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store has kicked off its Black Friday sale, and I know there are some mixed opinions about the sale, to put it lightly, but there's still some pretty good deals available as a part of the sale. I think there's a lot of worthwhile stuff to pick up, especially on newer release games, and games that, generally speaking, just go for a little bit heftier of a price point, but yeah, you're gonna be paying a pretty penny on a lot of those games still, because, you know, games that just came out a couple months ago, they're still gonna be in the, you know, $45, $50 range, or even games that have held up in price like a Stellar Blade. While it's getting cheaper, it's still at a hefty price, but I am back to do a video looking at the historic low prices of the Black Friday sale. So let's just get right into it. We've got a lot of deals to go over, and let's kick things off with Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, 30% off for $49. This is actually one of the deals that, surprisingly, it's a little bit cheaper digitally than it is physically. The cheapest physical price we've seen is $50. Here digitally, it is $49. Given in the past I've bugged out on Konami's pricing on their digital games, specifically Metal Gear Solid the Master Collection, this price point's actually a pleasant surprise. I thought it was gonna be like 15% off or maybe 20% off at most, but we got a nice 30% off discount, and Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of the greatest video games of all time. I truly have it in the pantheon of the greatest games alongside Red Dead 2, Witcher 3, so on and so forth. The game is incredible, and for $49, highly recommended. Just a great pickup, and a game that, you know, I definitely know that people had their issues with it being $70, but it is such a great game. I had a great time with it, and now a little bit cheaper at a $49 price tag. Next up, we have Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This is down to $40. I think this is a really good price for Expedition 33, which probably is gonna end up winning Game of the Year this year, and I do definitely see some of the rhetoric and the kind of the perception of this game shifting towards, oh, this is such a casual game. People that play it just think it's the greatest game of all time, and I definitely get that some of the social media takes can be a little bit grating with this game, but I still, guys, everybody should just play this game. If you have yet to, I definitely have talked to people that have not liked this game as much as I did, but I think the game is remarkable. I think the narrative is incredibly unique and incredibly compelling. I think the visuals are great. I think the soundtrack is great, and the battle system is obviously really well done as well. Just had a great time with it. It is now at a historic low price point of $40, which isn't a sizable discount, but guess what? The $50 budget price point for this game was already very much worth it, so to get it even a little bit cheaper, I would say is a good pickup. Finally, we are slowly defeating the Gooners when it comes to Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is now 43% off for $39.89. It used to be $50 on sale, so at the very least, you know, we're at the sub $40 range for the game. Maybe next year it'll finally get down to $30, and then sooner or later it'll be down to $20, but Stellar Blade is an awesome game, and we have heard, you know, the sequel is progressing in development, so that's pretty cool, but definitely check the game out. I think the soundtrack is awesome. I think the gameplay is incredibly stylish. The story, I think it's better than what a lot of people give credit to. Can it be better? Sure, but I think relative to, you know, what people say online, I just feel like some people think it's like this absolute atrocity of a story that's like a deterrent to the game. No, I think the game is still overall really good, and the story is serviceable and actually pretty decent. And $39.89 for Stellar Blade, good pickup there. Definitely give that a recommendation. Next up, we have ASTRO, 34% off for $39.59, another game that was holding up in price, but, you know, the PlayStation first-party games and the PlayStation published games, what you guys have to know is they always hold up in price, so this one was the winner of the Game of the Year award last year, which I thought Metaphor got robbed as far as that award goes, but whatever. These things happen in the Game Awards. It's never gonna please everybody, but nevertheless, Astrobot was a fantastic platformer and really well done. Visually great, really utilized the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller, and a love letter if you've been a long-time PlayStation fan, and I would imagine that a sequel to this game is in development, and really excited to see where Astrobot goes in the future. I think there's a lot of potential there. Next up, we have the Dead Space remake, 85% off for $10.49. Great deal on the Dead Space remake, a game that I really enjoyed. Unfortunately, it seems like Dead Space has once again hit the bench as far as new game releases. Like, man, it's just a bummer because I think this IP has so much potential, but it is what it is. This remake was really, really well done. The visuals are great, the atmosphere is great, the tension is definitely there as a survival horror game, definitely leaning a little bit more on the action side of things, but a very, very well done game, and $10.49, great pickup on that. Then we do have Star Wars Jedi Survivor, 85% off for $10.49. I love Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor, had it not been an absolutely atrocious game from a technical standpoint, probably would have been my game of the year of 2023. I just thought this game was such a significant improvement over Jedi Fallen Order that it just turned out to be a great game, and I thought the story was really good. I know some people weren't as crazy about it, but I especially thought the second half of the game was really, really well done. Just love this game, and I'm gonna do another playthrough of Fallen Order and Survivor here soon. But yeah, $10.49 on this is just a great pickup. Highly recommended. Do play Jedi Fallen Order first, and that's on sale right now as well. But yeah, great game there. Battlefield 6, 15% off for $59.49. Not a sizable discount on Battlefield 6, but given the game just came out, I was about to say a couple months ago, but no, it's only been like 6 weeks. Any kind of discount is pretty good. This is one of the standout multiplayer games of the year alongside the Arc Raiders of the world. You know, Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6 coming out in the same month. A good time to be into multiplayer games, but also a good time to have a PlayStation Plus subscription, which is, you know, not ideal given the discounts we have this year, but it is what it is. BF6, solid multiplayer experience. I'm not big into multiplayer games these days. I'm just old and washed up, but it is what it is. A lot of people enjoyed it, and from a sales standpoint, looks like Battlefield 6 is gonna run circles around Call of Duty, which, kind of amazing to see that. You know, I remember 2011 when Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3 were coming out in the same year, and there was a lot of attention around Battlefield 3. Ultimately, MW3 was the way bigger game, but I think the tide has shifted, and I think the optics of Call of Duty just don't look great. The game's still gonna do incredibly well every year, but I do think Battlefield has a lot of momentum right now, and they lucked out releasing it on one of the filler years for Call of Duty. So yeah, a lot of success for that game. $59.49 on that. Hogwarts Legacy is $10.49. Really enjoyed Hogwarts Legacy. Thought it was a really solid game, and it's the kind of open world action RPG that I really like, and the open world game that I like in general, in the sense that it's a little bit scaled back. It's not 80 hours long or 100 hours long. It's a solid 30 to 40 hour experience. You get in and ultimately you get out when the time is right. Like, it doesn't overstay its welcome, which I think is a huge issue with a lot of open world games these days. But $10.49 for Hogwarts Legacy, great price on that. And then we do have an open world game that is 100 plus hours. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is 40% off for $42. Unfortunately, this is one of those games that you really have to pay a digital tax on. Amazon's got the physical copies for $30, so something to look at there. But KCD2 is a really well done open world game. I actually just had a lengthy conversation about this game with someone yesterday. This person absolutely loves this game, thinks it's one of the best games of all time, but even he is understanding of why people would be mixed on the combat, and that is really what it comes down to, I feel, with KCD2 and people not enjoying the game as much as other people. It is the combat, and I wasn't crazy about the combat, but everything else surrounding it, I think, is so incredibly well done. The attention to detail, the depth of options to the gameplay, the visuals, the world design, all of that is so, the narrative, all of that is so well done, and definitely makes KCD2 one of the most compelling open world, one of the most compelling RPGs, screw just open world RPGs, but one of the most compelling RPGs you'll find. If you want a game that really leaves you to your own devices to figure the game out for yourself, you'll have a lot of fun with it, but at the same time, do bear in mind that this game is a massive, massive undertaking, and will be quite the time sink. But yeah, $42 on that. Gears of War Reloaded, 35% off for $26, from a 100-hour RPG to a 7 to 8 hour campaign. That's what you're getting out of Gears of War Reloaded. I still think it's really cool to see Gears of War on PlayStation. I think there is a bit of novelty to that, but had a good time with Gears of War Reloaded. Did I get super into the did I get super into the multiplayer? No, but the campaign I thought was a lot of fun, and it's the Gears 1 campaign. Like, I'm gonna be a sucker for the Gears 1 campaign. I do think the checkpoint system in the Gears 1 campaign is a bit dated, but what can you do? It's still overall a really great game, and for $25.99, I think a decent pickup. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is $29.39. It's Spider-Man 2. I imagine most of you guys at this stage of the game already have the the game, but you know, if you don't, $30 is a great pickup for it. Definitely play Spider-Man 2018 first. Definitely play Miles Morales. Those games are great. And I would argue Spider-Man 2018 is a game that I enjoyed more. Now, Spider-Man 2 definitely has the better gameplay, but narratively, I think Spider-Man 2018 is just so much better. Spider-Man 2, I think, has a lot of pacing issues, and I just think a lot of the narrative elements are just totally disjointed. But overall, I still really enjoyed the game, and it's a worthwhile platinum trophy to get fairly easy as far as that's concerned. But yeah, $29.39 on that. Ninja Gaiden 4, 20% off for $56. This is literally one of my favorite games of the year, and most people don't have it at that caliber in the sense of being a literal game of the year contender, but I thought this game was fantastic. As far as what I want out of an action game, Ninja Gaiden 4 had that in spades. It was fast-paced, it was visceral, it was brutal, it was bloody as all hell, and yes, the story isn't anything to write home about, but the story's fine, it's totally serviceable. And are you getting into a Ninja Gaiden game for the story and the narrative? Probably not. I mean, like, you've got some cutscenes that are cool, they're visually pleasing, but the gameplay is where this game shines, and that's what you want out of a Ninja Gaiden game, and they did such a great job with it. The soundtrack is fantastic as well, and I would highly recommend it. Again, $56 is kind of pricey for a game that you can complete in 15 hours, but if you want a game that you can get out, it's going to be all killer, no filler. That's what Ninja Gaiden 4 is going to offer you, and there is replayability. After you beat the game, you get a higher difficulty, more options as well. It's a fantastic game, man. I just really hope Ninja Gaiden is here to stay as a franchise because it's tremendous. Next up, we do have The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak, 40% off for $36. Man, if Legend of Heroes is going to be at a historic low, you know I'm going to give it a shine. Before Trails in the Sky first chapter came out, Trails Through Daybreak was, for a lot of people, the Legend of Heroes game that I was recommending people to play. Now that Trails in the Sky first chapter is out, I would probably go with that, but if you beat first chapter and you, I mean, people are just gonna hold me to the gallows, or send me to the gallows if, I would say, hey, just go jump into Trails Through Daybreak now. Like, dude, the issue with the franchise is, yes, you can play Sky first chapter, but then there are so many other games to play as well, and it's just, at some point, you just gotta be like, dude, just play the games. And with Trails Through Daybreak, I would say just play it. I think it's a great game. I think it has the best main character out of all of the Legend of Heroes games. I think Van is the most likable character out of all of the games, and it's a great time. $36 on that, great pickup there, definitely recommend it. Death Stranding 2 on the beach, $49 and change on this. Loved Death Stranding 2. It is 1B for my game of the year alongside Expedition 33. I put them 1A, 1B. I thought Death Stranding 2 was remarkable. Death Stranding, for whatever reason, for a lot of people, just isn't gonna be their cup of tea for the style of game that it is. Whatever, if you just think it's FedEx Delivery Simulator, I can understand that being the case, but man, I thought Death Stranding 2 was remarkable, and I think it's a significant improvement upon Death Stranding 1. I would highly recommend you to play Death Stranding 1 now, but Death Stranding 2 has a more cohesive story. It had the better gameplay with more focus on the combat. The visuals are stunning. It's a technical juggernaut as far as just some of the set pieces and whatnot in this game are remarkable. Love the game. For $49, I do think it's a good pickup, and it's a lot of content, man. You are getting a lot of content for your dollar there, so I definitely recommend that. Then we do have Metaphor ReFantazio, 50% off for $34.99. Another big undertaking as far as a JRPG is concerned, but I loved Metaphor, thought it was a great game, and I liked Metaphor better than all of the Persona games, which I know some people would vehemently disagree with me on that, but I thought Metaphor was fantastic. I love the characters in the game. The soundtrack was phenomenal. I thought the story was great, and there is some challenge to it, but the turn-based combat system has so much depth to it, incredibly rewarding. $35 on that is great. Assassin's Creed Mirage, $14.99 on this, 70% off. The DLC, the free DLC, did just come out, adding about 5 hours of new content, but yeah, AC Mirage is a game that I enjoyed. I really appreciate a smaller scale Assassin's Creed game. You guys know how I feel about Assassin's Creed these days. I just think the games are way too big and bloated. AC Mirage dialed it back a little bit. You know, it did start off as an expansion to Valhalla, then they spun it into its own game. game. But Mirage was pretty good, and I like Basim as a character, so 15 bucks on that, pretty good deal there. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, 60% off for $11.99. A lot of talk about Sands of Time remake apparently coming out in January. We'll see if that comes to fruition, but Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a great game. I thought it had one of the worst debut trailers of all time, probably the worst debut video game trailer of all time in terms of totally killing any sort of potential hype for a game, but the game came out and it was actually a really solid Metroidvania, and I had a great time with it. Gameplay is great, visuals are stylish, $11.99, good pickup on that. Couple of Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy 16 is 50% off for $24.99. I love Final Fantasy 16. I think the game is fantastic. I get why people have their opinions about the game. Oh my god, the gameplay's too simple. Oh my god, it's just for people that want good graphics out of a game. Oh yeah, sue me for appreciating a spectacle out of a video game. Like, yeah, I don't think graphics are the end-all be-all, and I think some developers get crazy with it. That doesn't mean I can't appreciate quality visuals and a game being an absolute spectacle, and Final Fantasy 16 is exactly that. I think the gameplay is great in terms of it being an action game, you know, it definitely is more so an action game than an RPG, but overall had a great time with it. $24.99, great pickup on that. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is 50% off for $34.99. Great deal for FF7 Rebirth, a fantastic game here as well. If you have a PS5 Pro, this is one of the showcases on the PS5 Pro. Significant improvement over Final Fantasy VII Remake, but you still gotta play Remake, but Rebirth definitely expands it, makes it a lot better, and yeah, gets to the crux and the heart of the Final Fantasy VII narrative as well. So great time there. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, 30% off for $49. Love this game. I thought Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was a great game, and I'm not a big Indiana Jones guy or anything like this, but I thought this was a really solid game as far as a single-player, narrative-driven action-adventure game. Man, had a great time with it, and I would say for $49 is a really good pickup, and it's a fairly big game as well, in the sense that doing everything gonna take you a little bit of time, definitely a little bit of an undertaking, but yeah, $49, a good pickup. And when I say a little bit of an undertaking, around 30 to 35 hours, but given Machine Games did Wolfenstein prior to this, I think that's pretty damn good. And then lastly, Silent Hill F is 30% off for $49. I was not crazy about this game whatsoever. I hated the combat in it, but I know a lot of people that liked it, so hey, more power to you. $49 on that if you do want to check out a horror game. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great historic low game deals across the board. Some great stuff for you to check out. That'll do it for me. All your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thank you for watching. Sound off down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.